What is good, everybody? Welcome to the show today. We're going to be talking about why I think the 2015 MacBook Pro Retina is the best decision you can make when buying a laptop in 2020. So a little bit of a background with this, guys. I bought this brand new in 2015, right as the newer models of the MacBook Pros started coming out. This was kind of like a late model. I think I got this for right around $1,000 at Best Buy, but this still holds features that I think are way better than what they're offering on the brand new MacBooks today. I'm gonna give you guys basically the top 5-6 reasons why I think that's true, what I love about this, and what has kind of changed in the newer MacBooks. So the first thing that I really didn't like about the 2016 and later MacBooks was the thickness of it. The 2015 Retinas, the actual Retinas that came out after the generation before that, cut down in size dramatically. They lost the CD drive, kept the ports. Losing that CD drive was able to let them cut down on the thickness a lot. When this first came out, I was a little bit questioning about it, about the durability, the ruggedness of it, if I could throw it in the back of my backpack every day. But once I seen the generation that came after this and how thin it was, it just made me realize that that wasn't for me, and the chances of me bending it or breaking it or having it get damaged inside my backpack was way too high of a probability. So the first thing is the thickness. It's still a good build, it's still robust. It's not as robust as the ones before, like I just said, but it is way thicker and more durable feeling and more sturdy in the hands, has more weight than the next generation. All right, so the next thing I'm going to talk about, guys, is the keyboard. Everybody knows that MacBook keyboards have not been very popular lately. Shallow presses, not getting good tactical feedback. These 2015 Retina MacBook Pros still have the old analog style keyboard. Gives you a nice travel distance when you're pressing it down, gives you really nice tactical feedback. Something that they lost in the later generations. Again, with cutting down on the size and the thickness of the laptop, you don't have as much room to be able to put that play in there and give you that good analog feeling that you're going to get with this thing. All right, so the next thing is the display. This is the Retina display, which is head and shoulders above the display on the earlier generations. But in today's world, it's not 4K, but honestly, it does an amazing job. I edit videos on here all the time, I edit photos, watch YouTube all the time, and it's never let me down once. I've never said, man, this display isn't what I want it to be. It's not as good as it could be, or I want something else. So the next thing, which is probably my biggest reason for keeping this and not getting a new MacBook, is the ports. This thing has HDMI out, has an SD card in, 2 Thunderbolts, which I never use that, actually has a headphone jack, and 2 USBs. Which the generation before this had a couple more ports. When you look at the newer generation MacBook Pros, they lose everything except for those Thunderbolts, and I think they have a couple USB-Cs on them, but they make you buy dongles for everything. It's to the point where it's made me not want to upgrade my MacBook Pro for the last 5 years because I use that SD card reader all the time. That's probably the biggest thing that I use. It's so nice not having to carry around a dongle or a plug-in or anything like that. I can literally take the card out of my camera, slap it in there, start editing, do what I need to do. It's very disappointing that the newer MacBook Pros and newer computers in general are just trying to shed everything that they possibly can just for the fact to get thinner and thinner and thinner and be less weight, which I think it's almost to the point like with our smartphones where they're getting so thin and just so fragile feeling that people are wanting to go back to the days when you had a little bit of heft. You can have a better, longer lasting battery because it's thicker, and I think the days of wanting to be the thinnest should have ended back with the Motorola Razr, but I digress. On to the next thing. So just in a personal experience, me using this thing for the last 5 years, full time every day, having it on charge, the battery is lasting great. I have seen pretty much no decline at all, at least that I can tell, maybe a little bit. Probably be me lying to you if I'd say if it didn't decline at least a little bit, but I can get through the entire day off a single charge. Like I said, watching YouTube videos, editing photos, all that kind of stuff with charging this thing in the morning. Usually I have to throw it back on the charge at night, but honestly, it's another reason why I just cannot justify having to upgrade to a new one. Now, if the battery was shot on this thing, it'd be a different story. Even whenever you get replacement batteries for this, it seems like it's never right. Aftermarket ones never hold up. And it's an entirely different ballgame with these, where the battery is basically in place, kind of like an iPhone. you can't just pull it out of the back without removing the entire back cover of the computer, which kind of sucks, but I mean, it all comes down to business. They want your batteries to die and they want you to buy a new computer in the next 2 years, so whatever. My last kind of thing is there's no shortage of updates coming for this, like saying every time that they come out with a new OS, a new operating system, I've seen no drop in performance. The internals on this are decent. This thing has about 8 gigs of RAM. I think it's a 128 gigabyte SSD, which isn't the best, but when I bought this, I didn't have that much money and I just wanted the MacBook really bad, so I got this. Looking back at it now, probably should have went with the 16 gig. But the good thing is, I'm gonna lead into my next point. You can get these things on eBay for a very reasonable price, depending on conditions, specs, anywhere from like $500, $400, $500, $600. I've been really thinking about bumping up to a 16 or 32 gigabytes of RAM, which would be nice, but me ripping into this thing and hoping that it works and being able to put it back together, I might be better off just purchasing a used one that's basically exactly the same as this, but with the upgraded internals from Apple that I know are gonna work. It's not gonna give me any issues. I personally think that this was the last great MacBook Pro that they've made to date, which is unfortunate, but we'll see what they do in the future. Let me know what you guys think. Would you buy a used one of these? Do you have one of these? Drop me a comment, hit that thumbs up, and subscribe. We'll see you guys in the next video. Peace, thanks.